Fishing and football are both in full swing.
That's a stud.
So we're catching bass with two of Big Blue's finest.
That's a big fish, even with a big man holding it.
Next, feral pigs can cause some serious problems. We'll show you how to deal with them if they're on your land. Then we visit Lake Cumberland for some winter bass bite.
You got one on?
What do you know?
Oh.
It's all next on Kentucky Afield.
Yeah, we got one. Sweet.
A muskrat?
Yeah.
Good job.
What do you know about that, man? That's a good fish, man.
Nice male smallmouth. Healthy, pretty color.
Cody, here. Find us one more good pheasant, Cody.
As biologists, we catch ducks and we place bands on them.
And it's just a really excellent place to see cottonmouths.
I like it.
What do you think? Like bull.
That was pretty fun.
Hello and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles. Join us as we journey the Commonwealth in search of outdoor adventure. Winter may be here, but it's always time to go fishing.
Look at this. First cast. It ain't that big, but he's coming in. He's probably about a 2-pounder. Oh, he's bigger than that.
He ain't bad.
I believe there's some fish here.
I believe so too.
Well, you know, there's always a saying, if you catch them on the first cast, you're not going to catch them anymore.
I got a feeling there's gonna be more.
Oh, yeah.
You play offensive lineman, right?
Yes, sir.
And you play linebacker, right?
Play linebacker, me and him get to butt heads a couple times practice, so.
I figured that. You guys have seemed to have forged a really good friendship. Is it mainly through this type of activities?
Yeah, definitely. And I've taken a couple of guys out of this new recruit class.
There you go. There you go.
I brought a couple guys out to the house. We have a little, about an acre pond in the front yard.
Yeah.
We've gone out there and fished a little bit, but I got weird fish out in that pond. Bass won't bite on nothing but a hot dog, if that makes any sense. The question is, who's going to get the big one of the day?
Hey, was that fish 14 inches?
Every bit of it.
Okay. So let's make sure. That's a good one.
That is a good
There
one.
you go.
It's a good fish.
Aaron, get him.
There you go.
You think that'd be 14 inches?
I'd like to have that one.
So how long did it take you to realize that you and Landon were gonna be buddies?
What do you say, Lamb, about the first time we met each other?
Yeah, just about. When you called me and said, I ain't going to South Carolina, I'm going to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So is that who was recruiting you big time, South Carolina?
That was me.
Okay.
And I was making my decision, and he's already been committed since his freshman year. And, you know, I felt as if Kentucky, you know, was my home state. And, you know, I make it more of a hometown thing. And, you know, come playing with guys like Landon and Drake and all the great guys we got in our class. You know, I just felt like, you know, it was the right place at home for me.
So how long have you wanted to be a UK Wildcat and play football?
Ever since I was itty bitty, I was a fan. Tell you the truth, I never thought I'd be able to get a chance to play college football. And freshman year, they offered me. There you go. Is that over 14 inches?
That's easily a tournament fish right there, bub.
There you go. That fish is over 14 inches.
Yep. Hopefully get up to your all size here next couple
Yeah,
casts.
quit catching the babies and catch a real one.
See, even if I catch a fish, I still get, you know. Now you see what he does here. I catch a fish. He's been fishing all down there, and I catch a fish, and here he comes right here. That's what I'm dealing with here today. That's exactly what I'm dealing with.
That's pretty awesome that you guys come in, and obviously in practice, I'm sure that you guys go face to face every single day.
Oh yeah, we get excited when we get to go against each other. Every day, every time at break, I'll come up to him and say, hey, we got to lock up that time. He'll come and say to me, hey, I got my hands on you. So, you know, it's pretty fun.
He's a pretty good sized fella. I got a feeling that in a race, you might be able to get him.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I never seen him sprint before, so he might surprise me.
About how big are you, Landon? How tall?
6'7".
6',
Oh, 6'7", 300.
6'7", 300.
Yes, sir.
You got that one. There you go.
That one ain't count.
Nope, neither did yours.
I know, but I'm already 2 ahead.
Hey, have you pitched that big object right there yet, Landon?
I am right now. Right after I pull this bass in.
Now that's a good one there.
That's a good one.
You may have to walk that way and see what in the world he's got.
I'm gonna pull Landon Young, maybe walk over to where he's catching them
You
all.
need to get in front of him at some point in time.
Yep.
Oh, that's a big fish.
He's got him about a 5 or 6 pounder right
That's
there.
about a 5, at least a 5.
That's why we fish every day, to catch a fish like that.
That's a good one, son.
That's a big fish, even with a big man holding it. So Landon, you actually committed to Kentucky as a freshman.
Yes, sir.
You probably really never considered any other schools, did you? If you signed up with UK as a freshman, did you take any other official visits?
I didn't take any officials. I took a couple unofficials. I took one down to Alabama, Auburn,
Yeah.
up to Ohio State, went to South Carolina, wanted to go to Florida to check it out, but
Just for the bass fishing, not really the football, right?
pretty much.
Cash said his favorite type of fishing is bass fishing. Oh no, you actually told me that. You got anything you like to do more so than bass fishing, largemouth bass fishing?
There's not much anything better than largemouth bass fishing.
There you go.
That's good fish. Sure.
Nice.
Heck, if you can flip it up there, that'd be.
Hey, I'm
easy.
numbers king today.
Huh?
I'm numbers king today. You might
That's
beat,
not what you were saying earlier,
you
was
might,
it?
you might beat me in weight.
That wasn't what you were saying earlier. Is that over 14?
I
No.
believe it might be right at 14.
No.
That's your all's official weight, or length. It has to be 14 to count.
14 to
14
count.
to count.
All right.
I'll give this some 12 maybe.
Loser has to buy dinner.
See, even when we're not competing on the football field, we're always competing somewhere else.
Yeah. But what's fishing if you can't do it with somebody?
Good one.
There you go.
Not as good as I thought, but he hit like a good one. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Ah, there we go. Good fish.
He's got a stud.
Oh, come here, buddy.
Jesus.
This is a good one.
Landon is the pond fishing guru.
You're getting ready to start your sophomore season, right?
Yes, sir.
Neither one of you redshirted, right?
No, sir.
And you both got to see the field a little bit, didn't you?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's pretty impressive coming as a freshman and get play in the
Definitely.
SEC.
I mean, my role was to play special teams and, you know, make an impact there. And then whenever I had got my opportunities to go in at the linebacker, you know, make a stand over there. And, you know, it was just a great opportunity for me. And, you know, Landon did an absolute outstanding job as a freshman coming playing the SEC on the offensive line, you know, just to see what he's done, you know, last year. Just shows, you know, we got some good talent coming into UK and, you know, there's more and better things to come off of that.
Oh, yeah.
Second time that has happened.
Hey, Cash,
Yeah,
you know when that comes out of water, there's supposed to be a fish on it.
son, it's short line me.
You guys had a pretty good season this past year.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely on the map kind of season for us because I think, you know, people now know that, you know, Kentucky football's back and, you know, and we're a force to be reckoned with coming soon.
Got him? Yep, there you go.
That's more like it, but that's not over 14 inches.
He's got a long distance measuring stick. I think he's right. It's a different kind of buzz around this state when the football team's really doing good come
Oh, yeah.
fall.
So it's a real humbling, you know, what we have here, and, you know, I'm very thankful that I've came to a university that, you know, provides so much for not just their student athletes, but just students in general. It's basically the best of both worlds, and living in a beautiful place like Lexington. We were in downtown, 5-minute drive from where we met up at, and now we're out here in horse farm country fishing for largemouth bass. That's a stud.
And catching largemouth bass, look at there. There you go. That's a nice fish there.
About 4.
Better let Landon know that He's on the clock. You got one now.
That boy's been in some battles lately.
Landon,
He's looking.
nice fish.
There she goes.
Hey, you guys are a good fishermen. I can tell you're very passionate about it. But you guys are doing a really good job to try to stay with your hunting and fishing passions.
Right.
And it just takes some dedication to it, doesn't it?
It does.
Tyler, born and raised.
That's it. That's it.
Can we do this every week?
The feral pig population across the United States has become a major problem. Let's take a look at what the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife is doing to control them.
Today we are headed out to remove some pigs from the landscape. We have several populations of pigs in Kentucky that are doing a lot of damage. They are destroying crops. They are displacing native wildlife. They're interfering with hunting. They are destroying forests and water quality.
One of the major threats that we face when it comes to feral swine populations is the risk of wildlife disease.
As a pig biologist, my goal is to eradicate pigs in the state of Kentucky.
A lot of people aren't aware of the fact that pigs carry a plethora of diseases, many of which are transmissible to both domestic livestock and humans as well.
They were rooting when it was frozen, so they didn't disturb the ground, but with the snow on, it was pretty interesting.
Some of these diseases can cause very severe problems and can actually be fatal in humans.
What we do first is when we see pig damage, we'll come out, we'll find an area that has a lot of pig presence, and we'll put some corn and bait out and a camera, and we'll watch it for a while. And if we get the pigs on bait, then we'll make the decision to set the trap. Sometimes that's just a couple days. Sometimes it takes a week.
We've got a piece of like braid fishing line running behind the feeder here, so that lets them come to the feeder, and then eventually one's going to be curious and walk and hit that tripwire. So our goal is to catch as many as possible. So you don't want to have the tripwire at the front of the trap or you're just catching one at a time. We want to catch 5 like we did today or more.
We prefer to trap pigs rather than shoot them, rather than hunt them, because they're so smart.
The tripwire pulls the pan and releases the door off the dog of the trap.
As far as intelligence, pigs are in the top 10 animals on the planet. They will leave the area, they will go nocturnal, and they will continue to reproduce. So the next time you run into them, you've got an even bigger problem. So what we do is we try to trap the whole sounder, remove the whole sounder from the area. A sounder is a group of related females. We'll go on and set the trap and leave the door up, let the pigs come in and get used to the trap, because you know, like I said, these pigs are extremely intelligent, so we have to ease them into the trap. Once we get them in the trap and we can get a whole sounder in the trap, then we can shut the door.
Basically it's set so smaller pigs can be underneath it and, you know, a bigger pig comes in here and hits it, but essentially all they're doing, then we've got pigs caught. This trap, we've got the ability to shut it with a cell phone. So when we know pigs are in there based on our trail cams, we'll drop the door.
We collect these samples to test for these diseases, and it's important because we want to identify disease before it's too late, before these diseases become established in our wildlife populations. So we want to protect our wildlife, we want to protect ourselves as well, and so that is also one of the main reasons why swine eradication is such an important thing.
They breed so fast and they produce so many piglets. Oftentimes we'll have a sow with piglets, and when we process her and open her up, she's pregnant again. Piglets are able to reproduce themselves at 6 months to 1 year old. So we can't, without trapping efforts, we can't make a dent in the population.
Well, that's 5 fewer.
And on an ecological scale, this is a major problem. Because you can have a pocket of disease here, bovine tuberculosis, that can be then transmitted to wildlife and then can be transmitted to neighboring livestock and to people that deal with those species. And so we want to minimize local impacts to protect the larger landscape and protect populations as a whole.
We've had hunters call and say that they are not seeing the deer and turkey that they used to see, that the pigs have moved in and the deer and turkey have moved out. I've had several landowners wake up and their front yard has been totally tilled up. It's just destroyed. So if you see evidence of rooting, of large amounts of rooting overnight, the soil just turned over, Fish and Wildlife urges anyone that has pig damage to give us a call, and we can come out and help with that.
If farmers have livestock on their property, they should be very concerned about feral swine populations.
If we act now, we can nip this in the bud. Other southern states are just overwhelmed with pigs across their states, and they really don't have a chance to get rid of them, but we do. So we've got 5 or 6 populations across the state that if we act now, we can do something. I really believe we can make a difference.
Now let's check in and see who's catching what and where in this week's fishing report.
This is Rob Roll in the Northwestern Fishery District, Nolan River Lake and Rough River Lake at Winter Pool, both holding stable. Nolan, crappie are semi-active around some standing timber. Anglers are doing fairly well for this time of year on bass. Bass are hitting jerk baits when they're fished along the bluff. At Rough River Lake, bass haven't really turned on yet that the lake just stabilized, but anglers are doing really well fishing for crappie. Finns Lakes have been stocked with trout a couple of weeks ago. Yellow Creek Park, Panther Creek Park, Wayman Morris Park in Owensboro, Madisonville City Park in Madisonville. Normally it'd also be Litchfield Park Lake, however they're still closed down for some contractor repair work on the dam. That's an update from the Northwestern Fishery District. Please remember, be safe on the water, especially this time of year when hypothermia can set in really quickly.
This is Marcy Anderson with the Fishing Report for Southeast Kentucky. Early winter crappie fishing is a good option on several area lakes right now, with the crappie being up in the major tributaries and creek arms on Lake Cumberland and Cedar Creek Lake. Try fishing minnows and jigs near standing trees and submerged vegetation. The striped bass have been in the upper portions of the creeks on Lake Cumberland. Drifting small shad and alewives are a good bet this time of year, as well as casting dollflies and grubs. Rainbow trout were recently stocked in Rock Creek. Try fishing small crankbaits and spinners. If you are looking for a way to recycle your Christmas tree and help out the fish after the holidays, go to fw.ky.gov and search for Christmas trees. You will find a list of locations across the state to drop off your undecorated trees. Trees will then be placed in area lakes to increase fish habitat. So good luck and good fishing.
In western Kentucky, down at Kentucky and Barkley Lakes, crappie is probably what everybody's out there doing. It's been spotty. The fish are being caught with jigs and minnows. Fish have been suspended, mostly around 17 to 20 foot of water, but they've also moved up to 10 foot of water on ledges on those warmer days. Well, I've spoken about the fisheries at Kentucky and Barkley Lakes so many times for the past 31 years. The lakes and the fisheries keep changing. Just when you think you have it figured out, they change. I think the key to success of an angler is the ability to adapt to these changes and change their methods. Well, this will be my last fishing report as I plan to retire at the end of the year, so I'll leave you with this thought from Winnie the Pooh. How lucky I've been to have had something that makes it so hard to say goodbye. Well, this is Paul Reister, and maybe I'll see you out there fishing on the lake.
Winter bass fishing is one of my all-time favorite things to do. Now let's go to Lake Cumberland in search of smallmouth. So we're down here in February at Lake Cumberland. We're here at Jamestown Marina. What we're going to try to do is showcase some cold water techniques. So tell me some of your favorite ways to catch fish in the cold water.
First, I got to say I prefer the jig. Down here, we've been catching them on blade baits, jerk baits, swim baits.
Well, let's get after it and see what we can put in the boat today.
Well, sounds good to me.
Here we go.
All right, got him.
What we got? Smallmouth.
Nice one.
There we go. Not real thick, but he's probably 19 inches long. I'm throwing a little football jig there with a small swim bait on it. You know, you've seen a lot of people throw little curly tails on a jig head. I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I'm doing it with the swim bait here. You know, a lot of times in the wintertime, they school up. If you can get that first one to bite,
yeah,
you can get a reactive bite out of 2 or 3 or 4 more.
Let's hope so.
Let's get this fish back in the water. A lot of people think that 46-degree weather is too cold for a swim bait, and we're both throwing swim baits and we're fishing them in 2 different techniques.
Bill's is hung up. There it came loose. For a second. I must have the limb. I have a fish on. He must have mouthed it when I pulled it off.
That is great. Smallmouth. Came up here and
believe
smacked
that?
that on that limb.
Isn't that something? I'd rather be lucky any day.
That is amazing. So you was hung.
I was hung. I took it by hand, as you saw. I pulled it out.
I got it. I got it loose.
And then I just started reeling, and it got heavy.
That's pretty funny.
Isn't that something? That's not a big smallmouth, but it's a great fat little sucker, isn't it?
Oh yeah, nice smallmouth.
Healthy fish.
That's pretty awesome. Bill, how'd you get involved in fishing?
Well, I was raised up on Frankfurt Avenue in St. Joe Orphan's Home, and somebody had donated a small plastic rod and reel, and I decided that's going to be my gift on my birthday. So I got that, and I soon thereafter broke it. I was passing by the groundskeeper's house one day, and he had an old bamboo fishing rod, and all that was left was a handle. The whole top had been burnt off. I took that rod and I inserted mine in there, and I made a new rod. And I had that rod all the way till I was 17 years old.
So somebody donated that rod and reel to St. Joe's Orphanage Home.
They did, yes they did.
And they have no idea.
They have no idea the monster they created.
That's pretty cool.
You got one on?
What do you know?
Oh, oh, oh.
I don't know if it's any good, but he's coming this way.
I've got the net.
Here he comes. I don't know how big he is.
Oh, that's a nice one.
There
That's
you
a
go.
nice one.
You got a 3-pounder, 2.5.
Pretty smallmouth. Good color.
So Bill, it's obviously February. If you're gonna come down here and you're gonna fish for bass in the cold winter months, give me your 5 lures you gotta have in your tackle box.
5 lures. Have a jig, a jerk bait, silver buddy, tailspin. And then the last one, but not least, I'd have a swim bait for sure.
Exactly the 5 I'd have. If you got those 5 baits, bass fishing in the middle of the winter time, you've got most situations covered. Let's get this one back in the water and see for some more up there. What do you think?
You got it.
Check that out. Look at those turkeys.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Pretty cool. Coming down and get a drink of water.
There's one.
Here we go.
All right.
Very nice.
Now that fish, I feel like I was pulling in a piece of wood. I guess that's a lesson right there. Anything that feels different, set the hook.
Hook sets are free, right?
You're right about that.
That's a pretty fish.
It is pretty, isn't it?
Oh, here he is. Pretty decent fish here.
Get up on your left side. Oh, that's a decent fish. Smallmouth.
Come on back up here, buddy. We will see you just a little bit more. There you go. Nice. Come on, buddy.
Wild.
Now he tried to eat that, and I want you to look at how that fish is barely skin hooked.
You barely have that fish hooked.
It is amazing. Look at that, come right off. I'm very lucky this fish got in.
You were.
It's a pretty good fish, probably 18, 19-inch fish.
That is a nice fish.
The old swim bait coming through again. Now let's see who else is out there having fun as we check out this week's Ones That Didn't Get Away. Here we have brothers Hayden and Hunter Hartz, who caught this 43-inch long gar on the Kentucky River while night fishing. They both had to hold their hands out to show how long it was. Here is 10-year-old Bailey Peace, and she got her first deer ever with a crossbow. It's a 5-point buck while hunting in Grant County. Nice job. Here is Zoe Troy from Harrison County, who caught this nice bass in a farm pond while fishing with her papaw and Buster the Beagle. Here we have Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Sam Wright, who took this nice buck while muzzleloader hunting in Harrison County. Nice job. Here we have Stella Dowdy with her first turkey ever, taken with her dad in Crittenden County. She was hunting with a 20-gauge shotgun.
All of us here at Kentucky Afield are wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas. And remember, hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner. Until next week, I'm your host, Chad Miles, and I hope to see you in the woods or on the water.